we celebrate and recognize the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, which includes those who have made outstanding athletic achievements, performances that shaped seasons, rallied the campus, and built the reputation of our athletic programs. The individuals we honor tonight made their mark, and through their efforts, their talents, and their contributions have become part of our history, and for that, we are sincerely grateful. At Central Christian College, we remain deeply committed to our mission to provide a Christ-centered education for character. That mission continues to define who we are and who we hope to become. And while not every journey reflects the fullness of that mission, each story is part of the larger narrative of this institution, one rooted in transformation, propelled by the grace and goodness of our God. Now, people occasionally ask me, President Favara, do you really think athletics can be transformative? I mean, it's athletics. It's not like they're coming for the mission, right? To which I respond, well, yes, 1,000 times yes. Well, because from my perspective, when rightly managed, athletics can become a mighty force for character formation. It's a space where students are tested, where they're refined, where they're stretched. And while scoreboards may mark a victory, it's the internal growth, the perseverance, the humility, the teamwork that defines a true legacy. Transformation is not just an outcome of pulpits and lecterns. God also uses locker rooms, long bus rides, intense practices, and the crucible of competition. And while the stories of our alumni are varied and their journeys may have taken different paths, we continue to pray that the seeds planted here will bear fruit in God's time. Pat Riley once said, "Each warrior wants to leave the mark of his or her will in every contest. There comes a moment that separates winning and losing." That moment is not always reflected on the scoreboard. It's found in the spirit of the athlete, when their effort becomes so complete, so sacrificial, so deeply authentic, that it becomes a tool for transformation. It becomes worship. Tonight, we celebrate that kind of excellence on the field, on the court, in the game. We honor those whose dedication and performance help build the programs we cherish and whose names deserve a place in our Hall of Fame. So thank you for being here. Celebrate freely, cheer loudly, and take joy in the shared memories and milestones that continue to shape this place that we call Central Christian College of Kansas. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gary Turner, who will introduce tonight's first inductee, our 2-year female athlete, Christy Robinson Kringlen.
Good evening. It is an honor for me to introduce Christy Kringlen. She had an interesting start. Back at that time, we weren't recruiting quite the same as they do now, where they're videotapes, all kinds of stuff. We'd go to the home, we'd go watch games. Well, I didn't get to do either with her. And she came up to visit. We had a great visit on campus, and she went back home. She's from Choctaw, Oklahoma, and her teammates fondly call her Choctaw. And so I was athletic director at the time as well, and I was at one of our baseball games, and obviously no cell phones back in the dark ages like that. And someone comes from campus and says there's some girl named Christy that wants to sign a letter of intent, and she's coming up right now. So I had to run over to my office, and I had to make up the letters of intent because I didn't have them yet. And little did I know what I was having someone sign. Christy came in, and I didn't know what to expect because I didn't get to see her play in high school. But what a phenomenal young lady. She was, a true team player in every sense of the word, yet she's probably the best three-point shooter we've ever had. She was phenomenal. You know, she would well, in fact, right now she holds all the records, I think, that we've had, at least for all the 2-year people. I mean, she had 1 year, she had 96 three-pointers in 1 year. And she would light it up most of the time. And one game she was playing, and she was, I think it was 0 for 6 or 0 for 8. And I took her out for a break. I usually didn't take her out much. And I took her out for a break, and she looks at me and she says, "Coach, am I shooting too much?" And you know how calm I was. Those are my players that are here. I basically stood up and I said, "If you don't shoot, you're coming out of the game and I'm never putting you back in." So she fired up about 5 or 6 in a row and everything was good. Okay? But I learned a long time ago that shooters have to shoot. They have to shoot. And if they hedge a little bit, they miss a lot. And Christy was one of those girls. All right? She could shoot the ball. When she graduated from here, she went on to Mid-America Christian University down in Oklahoma, where she was an All-American. She's a stud. She's a stud. Okay? What a tremendous person. But she's much more than just a basketball player to me. Okay? Well, I retired from coaching basketball here in 2001, moved to Indiana, coached tennis there, and then moved to I forget where I moved to. I moved to Nashville. Thanks for helping. And then when I retired in 2018, we moved to Orlando. Every place we went, Christy sure found me. I'll tell you what, we've had the best times, haven't we? One time she came up, we lived in northern Indiana, and we went to the largest flea market in all of the upper Midwest called Shipshewana. Okay? I don't know if some of you may have been there, some of you have not. Okay? She had her 4-year-old daughter, Carson, along. Okay? And Kathy, my wife, and her are great friends. Okay? So guess what they did? Here, you carry Carson, we're going to go shop. So they go out, they're having the time of their lives, and I'm lugging Carson. She's only 4, so it wasn't that bad. But we had a great time. Then she comes down to Nashville. When we moved to Nashville, what day did you pick? A rainy day, right? Oh, it was miserable, worse than today here. And so she came, and then her daughter Carson, as she got older, went to University of Central Florida for a couple of years. Guess where we live? Central Florida. So every time she flew in, we'd get together and it was amazing. We've had a tremendous friendship. You see, she's not just a ball player. Okay? She's much more. Okay? She has been and across the board. And I'll talk more about our team later. But she has been a phenomenal individual. Her and her husband, Harvey, have been married for 30 years. I was a little suspect of him at first, mainly because I didn't know him. What a great guy. They're wonderful. And so, you know, I'm just so happy for them. She had a remarkable career here, remarkable career at Mid-America. And I'm proud and honored to introduce Christy Kringland.
Acceptance speech. When I came to Central, I was waiting by the phone actually for a different college to call me. It was out in eastern Oklahoma, which I never got that phone call, which is fine with me because I found my place here for sure. What I got was a phone call that would actually change the whole trajectory of my life. I found people, a place, it all felt like home. I found the ones that took care of my soul, made me feel I could completely be myself around them. I found a coach, my friends, teammates that lit me up from the inside out with encouragement and love. Central always made me feel at peace and really just happy to be alive. Couple people I would like to thank for sure. I know he's not here, but Coach Mike, thank you for always making us laugh and being so supportive through it all. Coach Turner, thank you for giving me my chance. It was always clearly understood that I was more than just a player to you. I was family, and that meant the world to me. I belonged, a feeling that I have cherished so much that I make sure that all my students that I teach have that same feeling every day, that they actually belong. You truly are a blessing to me. Thank you for all the love and trust you have put in my heart. Thank you, Kathy Turner, for opening your heart and your space for me and the team for our constant invasions and not getting mad when I lost Scruffy momentarily. I never lost AJ though, and that's saying something, right? Thank you to Matthew, Katie, and AJ for sharing your dad and your mom with me and the team. I know I'm a better person because your lives touched mine in that exact moment. Thank you to the professors who were patient and understanding in me starting my journey in academia, remembering having to sit on the front row because that was a rule for Coach Turner. And those of us that had to take music appreciation with Mr. Seaman, and we're on the front row looking dumb. I was just like, okay. But he was very patient with us. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for driving to almost every home game from Oklahoma. The sacrifice not lost on me at all. For 2 years, you guys did that. I can still see you guys in the stands, Mom yelling loud, and Dad just chest up, smiling, and let me just tell you, he would have loved this weekend. To my now husband, who hung in there for 2 years while I got to chase my dreams, you are truly an amazing person. I love you to death. He came up a couple of times, but stopped coming because every time he came, he got stuck by snow. Thank you to my friends and my teammates, the nights in Coach's basement, either watching football because Brenda needed us to watch the Buffalo Bills all the time, or SNL because that's just what we did on Saturday nights, eating Rice Krispie treats and drinking Orange Julius's and cookies and all those things. You will never truly know the impact you had on me. You will never really know how much I needed that smile you gave me or the kindness that turned my day around. You may truly never understand how much that long hug or deep talk did for me in that moment. But I do want you to understand that all those things taught me not to wait to be kind, to not wait for better circumstances or for someone to change before you show them unconditional love. Just be kind. People need that so much. I'm truly blessed, and it has been my honor. Thank you.
And now to introduce our next inductee, our 2-year male athlete, John Jenkins. Please welcome Stephen Jenkins.
Good evening. I am Steve Jenkins, a graduate of the class of 1994, and tonight I'll be introducing the next inductee. From the time I was young, I heard tales of some mystical place called Central College that had made such an impression on this man's life. Tales of friends that became lifetime friends, playing baseball, staff that cared and supported the students, a community that was fun, exciting, and Christ-centered. As I grew older, groups from Central would come visit our churches, and I would hear more and more about Central. I would hear tales of this man meeting a young Iowa farm girl at a drinking fountain in the administrative building, and how that young lady somehow ended up at the same drinking fountain very frequently to say hi to him. That young lady became his wife. Now, 63 years later, is still his wife. Years after that, and because of phone calls with Coach Gary Turner, the idea of me coming to Central began to materialize. One of those calls came on a cold, cold November night when I was preparing to go to work at a lumber mill the following morning. We talked about baseball and basketball. I'm not sure what happened following that phone call, but a few weeks later I found myself driving to Kansas in January of 1992 with my dad by my side. I became a second-generation student here at Central and also played baseball. So I'd like to thank Coach Turner for demonstrating the same qualities I had always heard about regarding Central staff and professors. It was conversations with him that got me here. I found all of the other staff and professors to be cut from the same cloth. David Farrell, Jerry Fithian, Jerry Malone, Jerry Alexander. You ever notice how many Jerrys came through here? Robert and Sylvia Wolcott, and many more. Holding a special place for me was Coach Hubert Schorb. Taught me a lot about baseball and a lot about life. Like the next inductee, I enjoyed the community and family atmosphere here and made a lot of friends. Some of my fellow classmates are here from the 1993-94 women's basketball team. They're being honored here tonight as well. I had the privilege of watching them play. Tonight, the man I'm introducing came to Central and it changed his life. He dedicated his life to God, his family, and the people of his congregations. He devoted more than 40 years of his life answering God's call to ministry as a pastor and Christian school administrator. He's a man of great character. He demonstrated what it is to be a godly man, how to handle responsibilities, show others love, and he put others' needs before his own. He taught many people what servant leadership is all about. He showed me how to be a husband and a father. He did all of these things while still finding time to help me and my siblings with whatever we needed. And for me, that was playing a lot of catch. Tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce from the Central College class of 1962, my father, John Jenkins. And he wished he could make it here tonight. He's not able to do that, so he has a video that we're going to play for you on the screen now.
Hi, I'm John Jenkins, a graduate of the class of 1962 at Central College. It is a privilege and an honor to be selected by the Central Christian College Hall of Fame Committee as the JUCO male recipient this year. Thank you, Central Christian College, for this recognition and honor as the baseball inductee. I thank Central for the opportunity to attend a Christian college to play baseball, a sport I've loved from early childhood and one that literally changed my life. Central, my teammates, my coach, Dean Bacon, and all had a very positive impact on my life. My faith in God and believing in myself because of my God-given talents was the foundation of all I accomplished in the sport I loved so much. I chose to attend Central because of its commitment to Christ and Christian values. Biblical principles were integrated into every teaching and activity at Central. I couldn't have chosen a better school to help me grow in my Christian faith. The spiritual impact it had on me was tremendous. Special teachers, staff members, coaches, and the entire administration all helped me, and God worked through them to prepare me for what lay ahead in life. That first fall at Central, as a result of a visiting missionary's message, I felt God calling me into the Christian ministry. That created a problem for me. My goals in life were to get a degree in architectural engineering and then on to becoming a professional baseball player. I argued with God. I wanted to follow my own plans. I argued I couldn't stand in front of anyone to speak. I was too nervous and bashful. In high school, I took F's on all my required speeches. I didn't have a brother Aaron like Moses did in the Bible to speak for me. No, God, I can't do it. Choose someone else. At the close of that school year, it came time for the student body elections for our leaders to be selected the following year. I was elected student body president. What? No way can I do that. But God had a plan for my life. The students, teachers, and administrators encouraged me and told me they would help. I finally accepted God's call, and now in my position as president, I had to make some speeches. God always provides the way for those he calls, and he works in my life through Central to prepare me for what he wanted me to do. Central, a small Christian school, became a very foundational step in the process of preparing me for ministry. I don't believe that would have happened if I had chosen to attend a larger Christian college where I wouldn't have experienced the encouraging support and loving relationships I did at Central. I attended small two-room country schools through 8th grade, and then I was thrust into a 9 through 12 city high school of about 2,000 students. I felt overwhelmed and scared. I didn't feel I could stand in front of anybody and say anything. I wanted to turn away and hide. I ran the other way if a girl looked at me twice. I didn't contribute to discussions in class unless a teacher specifically called on me. I usually knew the material and got good grades, but I was afraid to talk. The only place I felt comfortable in high school was on the baseball field. I was good at that and played varsity and lettered all 4 years. My message to all who hear this is, if you're preparing to enter college, consider Central Christian College. The small family atmosphere, the friendly fellow students, the outstanding teachers and staff who are so helpful can all contribute to your college experience. Central offers excellent curriculum and multiple opportunities for extracurricular activities. These all provide a strong beginning to college life that you can't go wrong. Above all, biblical principles are integrated into all that you do at Central. You will grow spiritually and grow alongside of like-minded students, teachers, and staff who will encourage you along the way. Thanks again, Central, for choosing and enabling me to express my thoughts on this subject today. May God continue to bless Central for years to come.
And now join me as we welcome Bob Marsh, who will introduce the next inductee for meritorious service, Bob Burns.
I'm Pastor Bob Marsh, and I had the privilege of serving at Central Christian from 2007 to 2011 as your athletic director and baseball coach. My wife Monica and I loved our 4 years here, and we're here tonight to honor others who have done some tremendous accomplishments. And the young man that I'm going to be introducing, I've known him for a long time. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. And I know this to be true of my friend and mentor and colleague, Dr. Bob Burns.
affectionately known as Big Dog on the Porch. I met Bob in the fall of 1983. It was my first season as the women's head volleyball coach at Laterno University, and we were headed to John Brown for a playoff game with our women's volleyball team that evening. We arrived early in the afternoon, and we saw our team bus, and our men's soccer team was playing John Brown. So our girls decided, well, let's go check out the game and cheer our guys on. So I'm standing there, and this little short guy comes up and bumps into me. And he says, well, Bob Marsh, Greenville College grad, 1978, welcome to Shalom Springs. And he goes, I'm Bob Burns, athletic director, alumni 1963 at Central College, GC alumni 1965, and the athletic director here at John Brown. Well, I was stunned. I was like 25, 26 years old. I'm just looking at this guy, and I said, well, how do you know me? And he said, he laughed. He just said, well, I try to keep up with the things that are going on in my alma mater. Well, he wasn't kidding. From that moment on, Dr. Burns began mentoring me, and 42 years later, he's still mentoring me. I served for 10 years as the first National Christian College National Baseball Chair and wrote all the tournament and baseball guidelines. I bounced a lot of things off of Dr. Bob, and it was then I found out about the legend of Wally Moon and baseball at JBU. Now, we don't have time tonight to get into all that, but I was fascinated with the whole thing being a baseball guy. Bob was a pioneer at JBU and was a national leader in implementing Title IX procedures and fairness to women's sport. You might get a call to come out of retirement to help them get their things squared away in the future as well. But all during his tenure there, JBU was developing a powerhouse athletic program. Dr. Burns was the first to call and congratulate me when I was named the head baseball coach at Greenville College in 1990. Replacing the legend Dr. David Altop, who had been there for over 22 years. Flash forward to 2007, and I was hired as the athletic director and head baseball coach here at Central Christian College of Kansas. I was scurrying to my first meeting of the new year to give a report to the Board of Trustees, and who did I run into on the sidewalk out in front of the cafeteria? Dr. Bob Burns. I did not know he was on the board then, and it was a joyful reunion indeed. For the next 4 years, I consulted him often as I managed our 18 head coaches in our athletic council and was named to the president's cabinet. Bob helped me tweak or refine a few changes in our athletic manual, dealing with Title IX issues and fundraising. But his biggest help was his constant encouragement to lead with excellence for Jesus. Central Christian College was named an NEI Champion of Character Institute in the NEI all 3 of the years that I was there. This was accomplished through Jesus, who led many in our collaboration and understanding of the platform of athletics at Central Christian College. I have plenty of help. Presidents Dwight Reimer and Hal Hoxie for sure, and Dr. Dave Farrell as well. Dr. Bob Ish Smith and Dr. Bob Briner, 2 other Central Christian College alumni in the Athletic Hall of Fame here, were great mentors in my life for a season of time. But Big Dog on the Porch, you earned that title above and beyond outright. The man lying in the bushes with his ears up, ready to offer advice, wisdom, insight, and at times just plain encouragement and prayers was Dr. Robert Burns. To God be the glory. Dr. Burns, I am proud to present you for the distinguished honor of being received into the Central Christian College of Kansas Athletic Hall of Fame this April 26, 2025.
Thank Central Christian College for this great honor. Thank you, Adrian Carr and your staff, for putting this great event together. It's First class all the way. Thank you, Bob, friend, for the nomination and for the kind words. And congratulations to all the other inductees tonight. And a huge thanks to my wife, Pat, sitting back there, of 58 years. Another huge thanks for the kids, our kids, grandkids, and friends for choosing to attend this very special occasion for me and our family. I really value the friends, teammates, coaches, professors during my time here at Central, particularly Coach Selberg, Dean Bacon, and Keith Ivers. The Central experience was a very important part to play in my role in my career path. I learned early on that you are only as good as the people you choose to surround yourself with. Central was loaded with good people. My life was changed here at Central. I was consumed by sports until God intervened and sparked a moment of personal transformation that led me toward Him for service. And as they say, the Lord works in mysterious ways. As I went on to Greenville College, the Central legacy continued to influence me in the form of the lives of Howard Krober, Rich Stevens, Ish Smith, and Tom Morgan. Fast forward to 1969 when Pat and I were in Hong Kong serving the Lord. Past president of Central, Dr. Elmer Parsons, while on a visit to Hong Kong, encouraged me to pursue the doctorate. The rest is history. Still, later in life, I had the opportunity to serve on the Board of Trustees here at Central for 13 years. They are some of the most memorable years of my life. And in closing, under 5 minutes, I think, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, the Lord of my life. Thank you.
Now, join me as we welcome Mike Reimer, who will introduce the next inductee, our 4-year female athlete, Neva Hendricks Hirsch.
So I was here at Central on staff, attended here for 2 years, and then I was on staff from 1994 to 2012. Coached the women's team from 96 to 2012. And it's an absolute immense honor and privilege to stand before you tonight as we celebrate the induction of Neva Hendricks into the Central Christian College Athletic Hall of Fame. As a CCC student, Neva played varsity soccer and varsity basketball all 4 years. The basketball team she played on her junior year was inducted into the CCC Hall of Fame in 2022. Neva was a tenacious athlete on the basketball court, and there's lots of wonderful stories, but don't ask Dave Bryan about it because he won't remember. You need to ask Neva about those basketball stories. So we were talking about that a few minutes ago over there. But on the soccer field, I coached Neva for 4 years. Neva was competitive, relentless, and a passionate defender. Neva won tackle after tackle. Her physical strength, her passion for winning, and her drive to never quit, even when she was tired, inspired the team onto many winning moments. Neva was honored as an NCAA All-American her junior year and also her senior year, and she received multiple other NAIA and NCCAA honors. Neva and I are both very competitive, and we don't like to lose, right, Neva? We're very similar, and we don't like to talk up front either, so Neva, you get to do this after me. But Neva showed this competitiveness on the field every game and played like every game was winnable. Her freshman year, while preparing for Park University, a top 25 conference opponent, Neva learned that it was going to be a defensive game. In the first 5 minutes, we found ourselves with a free kick, and before we knew what was happening, Neva dropped a beautiful ball between the back line and their goalkeeper. Out of nowhere, CCC Hall of Famer Annie Sorensen found the ball on her head and put it in the net. But then in the 30th minute, it happened again. Neva placed a ball across the face of the goal and found Annie beating a defender for a second goal. What? We're winning 2-0 against Park University, a top 25 team? Neva shared that after the second goal, she thought to herself, who's Park University? We can beat anybody. It's usually what freshmen think, but this is her freshman year. Well, we hung on until Park scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of that game of regulation. It took us to overtime, and then they scored the winning goal in the second overtime period. Would have been a great win. But I do appreciate that Neva believed that we could win against any opponent. Tonight we celebrate not only Neva's individual accomplishments, but also the impact that she has made on the lives of countless others. Neva has been a mentor, a role model, and an inspiration to many. Through her leadership in the locker room, on the bus, at team activities, in the dorm, and across campus, Neva was known for her deep commitment to close friendships. I appreciated not only 4 great years of being her coach, but also the next 5 seasons that she served as my assistant coach. During those 5 years, Neva proved trustworthy and dependable. She was always giving to the people around her. Neva not only had an impact on many CCC Lady Tiger soccer players, but also became a close friend to me and my family. Neva, I greatly appreciate our friendship and want to heartily congratulate you on this accomplishment tonight. Please join me in welcoming Neva Hendricks into the CCC Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. I am truly honored and humbled to be standing here tonight, being inducted into Central Christian's Hall of Fame. This moment I never thought I'd experience, and it means the world to me. I'd like to take a minute to reflect on how I came to Central. So looking back 21 years ago, when I came for my campus visit in May, I went through registration and we made our way over to Greer Auditorium where we are now. At the time, President Favara was the campus pastor, and he was giving the message that Friday. As any 17 or 18-year-old who knows everything, I was pretty closed-minded. I would be here for the day, leave, and never look back. I was basically appeasing my mother coming for a campus visit and soccer tryouts. Also keeping in mind, school in general was something I had to work extra hard at, and furthering my education after high school was not something I was interested in. I knew I would just join the workforce, and higher education and sports were not in my future. Boy, was I wrong. And I am forever thankful that God had a plan for my life. The message that day, all about 5 minutes in, was about building a strong Christian foundation, something that can't be shaken and no one can take away from you. So as I'm sitting in between my mom on the left and Coach Reimer, who I had just met, on the right, I look over and my mom is in tears. So I lean over and say, "Hey, is everything okay? Do we need to go?" And she whispers back, "No, this is exactly where you need to be." I'm taking in the message, and I know she's right, but also thinking I haven't even had a tryout. What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't keep up with the speed of the game? All the doubts that can take over. Then at the end of chapel, Lenny prayed, and he specifically prayed for those that were here visiting, that the Lord would calm them and guide them. I had the best day, getting to know the girls who would eventually become my teammates, and I had what I thought was a great tryout. Also at the time, they had put me on defense going against All-American Annie Sherman. Talk about faster, stronger, which I'll get to. So 21 years ago, my life was forever changed in a way only God knew I needed. As you've gathered, I attended Central in the fall of '04 and graduated in 2008, where the real journey of working as an athletic recruiter for Dr. Farrell in admissions. I also will add he is tough but fair. And I got to stay on as an assistant coach for both women's soccer for Coach Reimer and for basketball for Coach Bryant. I also knew the impact that Central had on my life, and I truly wanted the opportunity to try and help lead students to Central and help build their foundation. I share all of this with you to remind you to trust the plan God has for you and stop trying to write your own story. And when he opens the door, walk by faith as he leads. So with that, first and foremost, I want to express my deepest gratitude to my coaches, my teammates, faculty, and staff. Your unwavering support, guidance, and belief in me were and have been instrumental in my journey at Central and molded me into the person I am today. Thank you for pushing, guiding, directing, and building a strong foundation in the Lord to be my best both on and off the court and field. This induction isn't just a reflection of me as an individual, but as a true testament to the power of teamwork and the dedication of everyone involved. I'm incredibly blessed to have such a strong and supportive group of people in my life, along with lifelong friendships. I also want to thank my family, my parents, for their endless love and encouragement. My siblings, I'm one of 9, so often they had to sacrifice a great deal for me to play sports or to be away from home. You all have always been my biggest fans, and I wouldn't be here without you. This journey of life has been filled with challenges and triumphs, and I've learned so much along the way. I'm excited to continue to push myself and strive for excellence in everything I do. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Kara Lawson, Olympic gold medalist. "We all wait in life for things to get easier. It will never get easier. What happens is you handle hard better. So make yourself a person that handles hard well." Those words resonate with me. There's always someone bigger, faster, stronger in life. You can be the person who handles hard well by going the extra mile when no one else is watching. Strive for perfection, give grace and mercy, and forever be humble. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. This is a moment I will cherish forever. I would like to extend my heartfelt thank you to all of you who were able to be here tonight to celebrate with me. To my husband, Will, and daughters, Brenna and Avon, thank you for your endless love and support in this crazy thing we call life. And I will leave you with this. Be good, do good, and God bless.
Please welcome to the stage Kyle Moody, who will introduce our next inductee, 4-year male athlete, Treg Fall.
Good evening. It's an honor to be up here tonight as we celebrate an individual whose contributions to Central Christian College athletics are nothing short of extraordinary. I would also say his contributions to the city of McPherson have been amazing as well, and we'll get into that as we go along here. But today we induct into the Hall of Fame a true leader, an exceptional athlete, and a person whose accomplishments will forever be etched into the history of the great institution, and that's Treg Fall. Treg's journey through Central isn't just defined by his athletic skill, but also by the impact he had on his teammates, the community, and the legacy of golf in McPherson. Treg's time on the golf course was marked by consistent excellence, and the excellence was recognized time and time again. I want to reiterate here that also Treg was only here for 3 years, but some of the records that he holds are pretty impressive. He was named to first team all-conference in the MCAC in both 2013 and 2014, an honor that speaks to his unwavering skill, work ethic, and dedication to the sport. And Treg, just so you know, like the MCAC doesn't exist anymore. Maybe that's partly because you just dominated it. I don't know. But Treg didn't just perform at the conference level. He was also left a lasting impression on the national stage. As a key player on the team, Treg qualified for the NCCAA National Tournament in 2012 and 2013, showcasing his abilities at the highest level. And For those of you that don't know, the NCCAA is not just the NAIA, but there's competing against NCAA Division II teams as well. So to be there is a huge honor. His presence was felt by everyone there. Treg holds the record for the most rounds in the 60s, which is really great for you guys that don't know what golf is. Shooting in the rounds in the 60s is awesome. But he holds the record for most of those in school history. He also holds the records for being the highest nationally ranked individual in school history. And in 2012, he was ranked 58th in the nation. And also in 2014, he was ranked 49th in the nation, which is a school record, which hasn't actually no one's come close to that since he's been here. So that's an amazing testament to his abilities, but his work ethic as well. And while Treg's individual records, we could go on and on because he actually still holds other ones in the record books as well. But the thing you need to know about Treg is that he was a great leader. He was a great person on his team, and that team that he played on had a couple of other hometown heroes in Mark Gayer, which I think Mark's here tonight, and Brady Sherman. And that trio really defined an era of Central Christian golf. And they had a lot of great times together. I got to hear some stories. I think Mark actually even posted some stuff on Facebook today about a trip they had to nationals and their view from the condo. I heard a lot about that as well. And while I never got to coach Treg, I got to work with him a lot when he worked at Turkey Creek. And we've built a relationship there. And it's even gone a little bit farther now. He's started a girls' golf team at McPherson High School, and I'm proud to say that my daughter gets to be coached by him now. So that's an amazing thing too. So all the things that he's done for the community, for golf, have been also really amazing. What he does for the game of golf. So the last thing I'd like to say is just that he had a great impact on the guys that he played with, not only Mark and Brady, but the other guys. And we still hear about Treg. My golfers, I'm the golf coach now, and we still hear a story about Treg when we go to the golf course. When we talk to the members out there, they will tell us about how great of a golfer Treg was and how great of a human being he was. And so I think that's a legacy that not only here at Central Christian College, but goes forth in the community. So congratulations for that as well, Treg. So please help me in welcoming Treg Fall to the stage tonight.
For those of you that know a little bit about golf, I kind of feel like I got the first tee jitters a little bit. Nervous but excited, so I guess I feel comfortable, so here we go. Just thank you to all the staff and faculty that put this on, this first-class event. Start off there. So let's get into it. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by thanking Central Christian College for giving me the opportunity to be both a student and an athlete here. Coming to Central has helped me grow as a person. It shaped my future in ways I never expected, and I'm thankful for the impact it's had on my spiritual growth. A huge thank you goes to my wife, Molly, for unwavering support, from listening to my never-ending lesson plans while student teaching, to traveling with me all over the tournaments, and somehow still putting up with me. Molly, you've been my rock. You've been there through it all, and honestly, I don't know how I'd do it without you. On top of all that, you're an incredible mother and wife, and the absolute backbone of our family. Your strength, love, and dedication are the foundation that keeps us going every single day. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Thank you for always standing by my side, believing in me, and making our family stronger every day. I love you. To our amazing kiddos, Tinley, Sage, and Gannon, thank you for being our daily inspiration. You remind us to be better, kinder, and more curious every single day. Watching each of you dive into your own passions and interests fills our hearts with so much joy. We're so proud of who you are and who you are becoming. Our hearts are fuller because of you and will always be your biggest fans as you keep growing and chasing your dreams. Your mom and I love you very much. Also, I want to give a shout out to my older brother, Cody. Growing up, he never let me win, no matter how hard I tried. Whether it was sports, video games, or something that didn't even matter, Cody made sure I knew what it meant to earn a victory. We had some epic battles, and while I didn't always appreciate it at the time, I can now say that those constant beatdowns helped shape me into the competitive person I am today. Cody, thank you for being the older brother who always had my back and never went easy on me. I love you. I'd also like to thank my parents, Tony and Mitz Fall, who were always there for me growing up. I remember them taking me to every sporting event possible: basketball, football, soccer, tennis, golf, track, you name it, they showed up. Their constant support is something I've always appreciated, and it's something I plan to give to our kids. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for being there for me every step of the way. I love you both very much. Dad, I don't think you or I ever realized what you started that day when you took me to the golf course for the first time. It wasn't just about playing. You gave me a game that would challenge me, teach me patience, and provide endless opportunities to learn and grow. I'm so grateful for that, and for the countless rounds we've shared over the years, with many more to come. I'll always remember those early days, and I plan to continue passing that love of the game on to my own kids and others. Next, I'd like to also thank my grandma Mary, who's in attendance today. Growing up, I remember playing scramble events with her. Those early rounds are some of my favorite memories, and I'll never forget them. She was one of my first golf partners and one of my biggest supporters. She's also one of the strongest and toughest people I know, and has always led our family by example. Grandma, thank you for everything you've done for me and for being such a meaningful part of my life. I love you. I'd also like to thank my father and mother-in-law, Kent and Judy Schmidt. I started dating their daughter when I was 16 years old, and they've showed me nothing but love and support, so thank you. Lastly, I was fortunate enough to play on some amazing teams here, and I'm especially grateful that two of my high school teammates, which Coach Moody touched on earlier, Mark Gayer, which is in attendance today, and Brady Sherman. We were all from McPherson, grew up together, and we came here to Central to play golf together. The memories I've made with them will stay with me for the rest of my life, and as well as the rest of our team members. I'd also like to thank all the teachers and staff here at Central, especially in the education department. They were so encouraging, and I just love my time here, made so many friends, made so many connections. I'd also like to thank our head coach, Zach Cumpston, at the time. Zach was not only a great coach, but a fantastic leader for our golf program, being able to bring some local kids in, and I really felt like it helped shape the program for the future. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of this journey. Your support, encouragement, and the memories we've shared have been invaluable in helping me get to this point. I'm incredibly lucky to have you all by my side, and I'll never take that for granted. And finally, congratulations to all the other Hall of Famers. Go Tigers.
Please welcome Christy Robinson Kringland back to the stage as she introduces our next inductee, Gary Turner.
First off, when this was getting started, Miss Adrienne Carr and I were emailing back and forth, and normally I was in class, I was teaching, and one of the last emails was like, "You haven't sent in the introduction to Gary." And I was like, I sat there for like at least 30 seconds to a minute going, "Who is Gary?" And I finally went, "Oh, she means coach." Okay, I got it. Let me just send that to you real quick. But for Coach, he graduated from Central in 1972, where he played basketball and tennis, and then he decided it would be a great idea to be employed by Central in 1980, but probably rather God decided that for him. After he completed his master's degree, of course, in athletic administration, he moved to Central to take up that job. Coach did a variety of jobs for Central. He worked in admissions, including director of enrollment, resident director, and numerous other positions. But most important job, the one that put Coach on the path to me and my teammates, were becoming head women's coach in 1986. And then, sorry, Coach, that you had to wait till 1992 but to meet all of us, but I hope, you're totally cool with that. A year later, he was athletic director and physical education department because he can never leave things alone. And he became the head men's basketball coach in 1998, only so he could coach his son Matthew, and that's the only reason why I forgive him from going to the dark side. On to Coach's accomplishments while at Central. Started the sports information department in 1981, developed a four-year program, a degree program for physical education when Central became a four-year institution. As athletic director, Coach was in charge of turning the two-year athletic program into a four-year program, including joining the National Christian College Association. He designed the new gym and the entrance and the office areas. Coach Turner is the winningest women's basketball coach in Central's history with 8 winning seasons. He coached the 1992-93 team, who was the first CCC team to ever win 20 games, and the 1993-94 team, who's here tonight, being recognized as the winningest team in CCC history. Out of all those wonderful accomplishments, though, I think Coach is most proud of all the beautiful women and men he was so blessed to coach, and also the Sunday school class for the players that he taught, because he was passionate about bringing Bible study to the players at Central and leading them to their personal relationship with the Lord. After leaving Central in 2001, Coach served as the athletic director and tennis coach at Huntington University for 8 years. In 2003, he was named NAIA Region 7 Athletic Director of the Year. 2008, Coach was named Mid-Continent Conference Women's Tennis Coach of the Year. Coach finished his career at Welch College in Nashville, Tennessee, where he was athletic director and PE department chair for 9 years. During this time, Coach was able to add several courses to the PE curriculum and helped the college design a new gymnasium and added 4 new sports to our athletic department. In 2018, Coach retired and moved to Orlando, Florida with his awesome wife, Kathy. They just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. Coach and Kathy raised 3 great children and now currently have 5 grandchildren to spoil. Please welcome Coach Gary Turner to the stage, to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Christy. And I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this honor. It is a privilege to be here. The Lord has blessed me in so many ways, I can't tell you. The 2 most important women in my life. Little did I know the number of women that were going to be important in my life later. But when I was a little boy, probably 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, my 5'3" mother, I wanted to slap her as much as I loved her. She said, "Gary, you're a leader." What are you talking about? I've got 7 brothers and sisters, and I never heard her say that to them, although she probably did. She said, "You're a leader, and I'm going to send you to a leadership camp, and you're going to do it." I don't want to do that. But little did I know the insight that that little 5'3" woman had. She was truly a marvelous human being. She loved people into the kingdom like no other. She's the greatest woman influence in my life, there's no doubt about it. The second most important woman in my life is my wife, Kathy. As Kristen told you, we just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary last December. And we were blessed to take our 3 kids and 5 grandchildren on a cruise and had the most amazing time in our life. But, you know, there are many times I've thought over the years how Kathy could have put up with me all those years. Because, you know, there were many times, I'll give you an example. We moved to McPherson in 1980, and our daughter Katie wasn't here yet. She came in November. About a week later, I left on a 10-day admissions trip. Fortunately, Kathy's mom was here, and it was okay. She was probably glad to see me go for a while. But Kathy has been a rock forever. She's been the best. She's all of these young ladies today, they're like daughters to her. I mean, I'll talk more about the team when we get there in a little bit. But she's amazing. She is always there. She's a tremendous mother. She's truly a woman of God. I mean, we have great spiritual discussions all the time. And you know, when the kids left home, they didn't just leave home. They went like some of you did, you know, all over. I have a son in Santa Fe. Now we moved near our son Matthew here in Orlando. And our daughter Katie and her 2 daughters, Mavis and Annabelle, are here today, which is wonderful. They live in Kansas City. But you know, Kathy, she kept everything running. She was amazing. You know, there's no other way to put it. And so I always want to try and acknowledge her because of her, what she means to me and meant to so many of our players that came through. Our guys didn't come around much, but the women were here once in a while. Well, more than once in a while. Okay, some other people I'd like to thank. When I got here in 1970, okay, I met this guy in the dorm in Stoll Hall. It was a men's dorm. We were in Stoll Hall. There was this guy named Gary Anderson with the same first name. And he was like the guy that everybody wanted to hang around with. I don't know why. I mean, to this day, right, Gary? Oh. But anyway, I had, you may not believe this, but my self-esteem was nothing. And Gary made such an impact on my life, I can't tell you. He did, okay? And then he made the smartest decision of his life, and he married his current wife. How long have you been married? About 50-some years. But Gary and Millie are my close friends, and they're here tonight. And you know, he has meant so much to me as a friend, and what he meant to me as a 17-year-old turning 18-year-old student. And so I may not have been here today had it not been in part to him. You know, another guy I have to thank is the guy whose name is on that thing right down there, Don Munson, mainly because I almost wanted to hate him, because he talked me into coming here in the first place to be an admissions counselor. He calls me up. I was getting ready to take a head basketball job in Illinois, and he says, come out and work for me. I said, I don't want to be an admissions counselor. Oh, come ahead. I said, no, I'm not coming. He called me 4 or 5 days in a row, and he finally got me out here. Okay, little did I know that the admissions preparation, you know, the key in college athletics has more to do with recruiting than it does with coaching. And I'll explain more about that when we talk about our team in a little while. Okay, recruitment's everything, and Don taught me a ton about coaching, recruiting, which made a really huge impact on me. Okay, I was still mad at him for bringing me out here at admissions, but it worked out okay. And it did. It took me a few years to get to coaching basketball as a head coach, but I made it. The other person I'd like to thank was my sophomore coach. And this is why I'm also a little angry about Central. Can you believe this? I averaged 6 points and 7 rebounds as a sophomore, and I'm not in the Hall of Fame as a player. It's crazy. what is this committee thinking? You know? I mean, I was stellar. I shouldn't share this with you, but I will. I hold the record, okay, for most technicals ever by a player, assistant coach, and a head coach. I own them all. And I don't understand because I'm such a quiet guy normally. You know, it just amazes me. All right, then I want to thank all my players. I could never win without them. They were successful because of them, not because of me. I just put them together. They ran like the machines that they did stuff that's, in my opinion, Central had never seen before. And again, I'll talk more a little bit about that later. I also have to thank, I had a number of assistants over the years. Mike Hebert, who couldn't be here tonight, his father-in-law passed away, and he's at a funeral up in Iowa. Scott Hemberry, who's a Free Methodist pastor, I don't know, somewhere out on the West Coast. Tammy Hopkins, Johnson Hopkins, who's here tonight. You know, she owes me so much I can't tell you. You know, because she came here, I recruited her, she came here, you know, she hangs around with this other girl named Melanie, and then all of a sudden she gets her brother, and now she's married to Melanie's brother. Or, you know, pay me later, Tammy, that's all I can say. I learned something when I was in school. Some other people you always want to thank when you're a coach. Always thank the custodians. That was me, by the way, most of the time. I had to sweep the floor and do all that stuff. So I'm thanking myself. But these ladies know, and I know. How about Madeline Saxton? All right. Doris Short. John, I can't remember John's last name. James Nelson, for a while, he was the head of food service. I also need to thank James because he used to keep the scorebook for me, and every time I'd stand up to scream at an official, he would look down and say, no, that was a foul. Just sit down. You know. So he kept me in line some of the time. Okay. Then there was Steve Sell, who was the sports editor at the newspaper. I thought he did Central a great service for many years for women's basketball. You know, we had many conversations, and I was really thankful for him. And the last person, you know, I want to thank is Mr. Central Christian College himself, Dave Farrer. Okay, he's going to retire, so we hope the doors stay open next year. But he has been, to me, everything to this place for many, many years. And what a blessing he's been to me and so many people that he deserves the recognition, and he ain't going to get it. But he deserves it a lot. Okay, now talk a little bit about taking the job. When the job opened up to coach women's basketball, first of all, I was shocked because the guy who had the job, I never thought he was ever going to resign. I thought he was going to stay here forever. And the Lord decided, send him out. Okay. I took the job. This is what I was talking about before. Okay. When I took the job, the first year I had the job, people said to me, you will never win at Central. Never. You won't win. Nobody wins here. You're not going to win. I said, we're going to do the job right, and we're going to do the best we can. Okay. And the first year, we were 2-22. See, I told you it was the women that win the games. As director of enrollment, I had recruited 3 girls: Amy Lynn Tigan, Kathy Everhart, and Amy Green. Okay, and they were the start of what all of these ladies are today. Okay, they came in, they gave me everything they got. Just didn't have much. And I did something no coach I know of has ever done. We were so short on players after Christmas that Jerry Fithian's niece, all right, came back to school. She was from Alaska. And I went over and I go, Jill, I need you to play. She goes, I haven't played for a while. I said, I got to have you now. She played in the game Tuesday and had never even been to practice. That's how hard I was up for players. And she did a good job. She didn't get hurt. That's all that mattered, the first one. You know, we just had 8 players, you know, and we were struggling, okay? We finished 2-22. But what a great group of young ladies. They gave me everything they had every night, every Saturday. Unfortunately, they didn't have the talent, but they were special. They were special. Year 2 was a complete turnaround. We went from 2-22 to 16-10 in 1 year. I recruited a 5'7" point guard, a 5'9" shooting guard, and a set of 6-foot twins. Okay? And one of the twins, something turned a light on in her. Because she was an okay high school player, not great, okay player. She was an animal by the time her sophomore year came around. I'm not kidding you. She was a volleyball, that's how I got her. I had to say, you can play both volleyball and basketball if you come, and I hated saying that, but I needed those twins. This is how powerful she was. She went up for a spike as a volleyball player and knocked a girl over on the other side in one game. She was 6 feet tall, and she was strong. Anyway, so those guys were for a couple of years, and then I was blessed to get that Tammy person again. And Tammy came, and she had a great year. And what my daughter remembers about Tammy is she was always coming out of the game and laying on the floor like Larry Bird used to do because she was icing her back. Okay? There you go. Well, one of the things I tried to do, and it's so evident, yesterday we had more fun, and today we had more fun. All right? Here's what I tried to do. I wanted them to first of all, do what I did. Lifetime friends. You may not see each other, but when you do, it's like yesterday. We're back together again. I feel that way about, like, Gary and I, for example. And there are others that I went to school with here the same way. Okay? I wanted them to love Central Christian College. But most importantly, I wanted them to love the Lord. Okay? That was so important to me. Okay? Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi said at one time, some of you older people have heard this, I'm sure. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And I tell you, that's not it. Doing your best is. And that's what they do. I've never felt, I think in all the years I coached women, there was only one girl ever that didn't do that. One out of all the women that I coached over the years. The effort they gave night in and night out was amazing. I know I was hard on many of you who've been to my games. Okay? I yelled a little bit sometimes. Okay? But I used to raise money. We knew we didn't have a lot of money here. And so I would raise money for shoes, shirts, whatever I could do to do it. And, there was one place that was like a sin for you to say when we were going to go out to eat. All right? We never ate at McDonald's. Unless, well, we did. We had to eat at McDonald's when we went to Pratt because there was nothing else out in the boonies out there. So we all went, okay. But I tried to feed them well. We stayed in a nice hotel when we went on the road for overnights. And they were the best. I mean, I can't tell you, yeah, I organized them. Yeah, I pushed them. But it was them, all my players over the years, that won every game. I never won a game. I won a few playing. Well, I was on the team that won. Okay? But I believe with all my heart, in 1969, 1970, the Lord called me here. I had an opportunity to play college hockey. And the Lord called me here. I didn't even look at any place else. I'm not kidding you. Because the Lord wanted me here. And I believe with all my heart that every one of these people that I recruited, everyone is here because the Lord wanted them here, not because I wanted them here. And our lives are changed because we're here. And I'm blessed. So again, I thank all of you for coming. I thank the committee. I'm just blessed. I've been blessed all my life. And this is one of the greatest things that's ever happened. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Melanie Bailey to introduce Coach Turner, who is representing our next inductees, the 1993-94 women's basketball team. The Central Tigers 2024-25 version of women's basketball here at Central will help to present their awards.
Everyone, I'm incredibly honored to be here tonight representing our 1993-94 women's basketball team from Central Christian College. I'm especially pleased and proud that our current women's basketball team is with us tonight to represent the student athletes and women in sports. Thank you, ladies. I would like to introduce again, Coach Gary Turner. I'm with Christy. I didn't know who Gary was either. We've always referred to him as just Coach. So I'd like to introduce Coach Turner again, who will say a few more remarks about the team. He'll highlight our accomplishments and provide a little context about why we have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. But what you won't see in any statistics or any record books is the impact that Coach Turner had on all of our lives. He was much more than a coach to us. He was a mentor, a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, and a father figure. He pushed every individual on this team to reach our highest potential. And I can still picture us sitting on the sideline before each practice as he would give us a talk. Do you guys remember that? It was usually mostly centered around life lessons built on biblical principles and a little bit about basketball. Mostly, and I think that's evident in the fact that several women on our team, both years that I've been here, were involved and are currently involved in different ministries in their communities. He had a profound impact on us spiritually. I also remember many nights when we would go over to the Turner's house and devour his world-famous chocolate chip cookies or Rice Krispie treats. And what an honor to be coached by someone who worked so tirelessly and opened his home, his family, and his life to all of us. We were more than a team, we were a family. And I attribute that to Coach and to Kathy Turner, who created more of a culture for us to exist in. And we were truly a family that was built primarily by you, Coach. Thank you for the impact that you had that way. This introduction into the Central Christian College Hall of Fame is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and love that this team had for the sport and the heart that we had for each other. None of this would be possible, though, without Coach Turner. So at this time, I'd like to introduce again the 1993-94 women's basketball coach, Coach Gary Turner.
don't know if they're gonna hide over there or they're coming up. So Monday afternoon, I called my wife and I said, "Honey, if you don't mind, I need to come to the hospital. I had a surgery on my leg. It's broke my leg." So for 6 months, I wore a cast. And then about halfway through the every one of our players couldn't be here. Denise McBride flew out of to nationals. How dominant was this team, these guys? All of our wins, we averaged winning by over 18 points a game. We beat people pretty soundly, and my philosophy is we're never going to run the score up on people. Once we got ahead, everybody played, substituted, made sure everybody got They're very talented. A lot of times, not it was like they hadn't, like they hadn't seen anybody for like 5 minutes. They were like this, all this is the only time I've got to be quiet. Yeah. They're special groups. Kathy and I enjoyed every time they came over to the house, which is kind of often, and but it was worth it. I love baking them cookies. I'm a cookie baker in our house. But they were grabbed the ball, and Brenda's screaming, "Give me my ball back." And it was a nice day on our way to Kansas City. It was a Saturday. Mike holds the ball out the window, okay? And she's screaming for the ball, and they're all laughing, all right? And I look at Mike, and I said, "Go ahead, we got time." And he went, threw it out the window, okay? She starts screaming about her ball. I just kept driving. And they were all laughing. Then I stopped, turned around, we went back, picked it up, dusted it off, and took off. In fact, we just talked about that again. And on the way home, we did some different things. Like I called this thing progressive dinner. Right after the game, we'd stop and get something to eat. Then we'd stop somewhere along the way and get something else. And we always stopped at Dunkin' Donuts in Wichita on the way home when we were coming from the south. And those that were still awake would have some donuts or whatever. So we had kind of a progressive dinner on the way home. The other thing that we did on the way home that was one of my favorites is Mike would drive back, and I would climb in the back, and we would talk. Now, some of them slept because they got bored with me in the first place, but they would ask me anything about life they wanted to, and I would do the best to answer them. And sometimes a 3-hour basketball trip went by just like that because we were deep in discussion. And Melanie, a lot of times, would sit, on vans where you have the hub right there in the middle. She'd sit on the uniforms and face the back, right? Isn't that right? And we tried to make basketball more than basketball. We wanted to make it a life experience because it was too important to us. Okay? And I want to close with our last trip. We were blessed to be able to go to Arizona to play, and I was able to raise enough money to fly us out there. And we flew out on a Wednesday, and I wish we would have had some pictures because they got to see, did we sneak into that game? Yeah, we snuck into a minor league baseball game. Let me see, who was playing? Oh, the Rockies and the Angels were playing, okay? I got a picture of all these guys, remember this, hunched over in a field of flowers, and in the background, all these different kinds of flowers that they were, probably gonna dig up and sell to somebody anyway. We were driving up the mountain once, and there was a sign that said, "Beware of dog, survivors will be prosecuted." And I thought that was the funniest thing. I had to write it down. When we were in Denver, Continental Airlines put us in the international room, and treated us like we were really special. And then we got to go to America West Arena where the Phoenix Suns plays. And we ate well. I was good at that. I don't know why. I may not have been a good coach, but I ate pretty well. But Coach Mike was a great help to me. Scott Hemberry was wonderful help, student assistant, and Maria Dyer, who's here. Is she up here? Oh, good, she's up here. Okay, Maria Dyer, Becky Fabra, Rochelle Flowers, and Sherry Peterson all helped, and I couldn't have done without them. There's so much that they did. And when I first talked to Adrian, she said, "You can't say all that," because I was going to give all the statistics, all the things that these guys have done. And I could talk for another hour. It's a special group. And I'm telling you, they're amazing. My wife and I have had the greatest day and a half just hanging. We went to Coronado Heights today, most of us, and we just hung out. It was like old times. And some of us who haven't seen each other, how long? 30, yeah, a long time. They're special, and I wanted you to know that. So on behalf of our team, thank you so much for our induction. We are blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Kyle Moody.
Well, what an evening it has been. Congratulations to our honorees and new members of the Athletics Hall of Fame. I want to take a minute to thank each of you for being here tonight. Many of you have traveled quite a distance to join us, and all of you have made the effort to celebrate and recognize these athletic alumni, so thank you. I hope tonight has reminded you what Central is. A mix of generations, backgrounds, majors, sports, and life experiences, but together we are one. We are Tigers. One in Christ, one in the belief that whether a student, athlete, faculty, staff, or parent, Christ-centered education for character is investing in the lives of others, and that will change you forever. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many gifts you've bestowed upon us, for the strength and talent you've given to each of these athletes that we've honored here tonight. We ask you for your continued guidance and blessing on their lives, that they may continue to inspire others to live with integrity, courage, and faith, that their stories may shine as a testimony to your greatness and love. We pray that you would be glorified in all that we do as we leave this place, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now to continue the evening, everyone is invited to the celebration reception in your honor, which will be in the Broadhurst Student Center. And so I guess I'll see you there. You are dismissed.
And now, on behalf of Central Christian College of Kansas, we want to thank you for joining us at Hall of Fame 2025. Enjoy the rest of the evening in the Broadhurst Student Center dining room for the celebration reception. Good night, everyone.